He's got a big ass picture of him on the back, which doesn't bode well for him. I mean, it sounds interesting. You got me, James. You got me. Sir, ma'am, whoever's in charge. Maybe he doesn't have any feelings. I don't know. We're gonna just suffer, I think. Hello and welcome to another episode of TBR Temp. This is going to be episode number 3 and I want to get my spins in today to see what I'm going to be reading. So if you didn't know, in this series I have 3 spinners. I have a red spinner for the books that are hot, hot, hot. I look at my shelf and I say, oh, I can't wait to read that book. And then I have a green spinner for books that are mid that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to read that book. I'm looking forward to getting to it eventually. And then the blue books are the books on my shelves that have gotten stale and I maybe either regret buying or don't think I'm gonna like very much, so I have been putting them off, but you never know. I don't want to get rid of them yet because they might be secret diamonds in the rough. I'm going to be doing those 3 spinners to see what books I'm going to be reading for this video. We start with 3. Sometimes I do more spins if I DNF things or if I have more time. So let's go. Sure, I have my iPhone speaker on. You can hear it spinning because that's more exciting. First, let's spin our blue spinner. Lots of options, lots. So let's spin. You excited? I'm excited. What's it gonna be? What is it? Oh, the bone clocks. This is like one I wanted to read the least. All right, well, let me go grab it. That might be a quick DNFer. This is the Bone Clocks. It's by David Mitchell. It is very, very heavy. He also wrote Cloud Atlas, which I also did not read. And I mean, he's got a big ass picture of him on the back, which doesn't bode well for him. I don't know. I bought this, I think, when I first started reading again for $5 at the book barn because it looked interesting at the time. There's a little apple in there, so that's exciting. And I have no idea what this is about. It says The Bone Clocks is the most ambitious novel ever written, or just the most Mitchell-esque, a thing of beauty. An eloquent conjurer of interconnected tales, a genre-bending daredevil, and a master prose stylist, David Mitchell has become one of the leading literary voices in the generation. Okay, but what's the book about? Following a scalding row with his 15-year-old Holly Sykes slams the door on her old life, but Holly is no typical teenage runaway, a sensitive child once contacted by voices she knew only as the radio people. Holly is a lightning rod of psychic phenomena. Now as she wanders deeper into the English countryside, visions and coincidences reorder her reality until they assume the aura of a nightmare brought to life. I mean, it sounds interesting. Cabal of dangerous mystics, Lost Weekend, shocking disappearance. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. This book is really long for what it is. It's almost 600, no, it is over 600 pages. It's got deckled edges, which I hate. They make me irrationally angry, especially one that's not even cute like this. So anyway, we shall see. It may be a quick DNF for me, but I feel like this could be one of those books that I start reading and am mildly interested in. Let's read the first line. The Bone Clocks, June 30th. I fling open my bedroom curtains, and there is the thirsty sky, and a wide river full of ships and boats and stuff. But I'm already thinking of Vinny's chocolatey eyes, shampoo down Vinny's back, beads of sweat on Vinny's shoulders, and Vinny's sly laugh. And by now, my heart's going mental, and God, I wish I was waking up at Vinny's place in Peacock Street, and not in my own stupid bedroom. Whew, that was a long sentence. Must be from the teenage girl's perspective, I assume. All right, let's see what's next. Next we will spin for green. You ready? Spin. You'll know before I do. Lover Awakens. We're getting some oldies today. Let me grab that one. Let's see. Here it is. I think this is the right one. This is the 3rd book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. This is a smutty paranormal romance series, I believe written in the 90s or early 2000s. Let's find out for sure, by J.R. Ward. Yes, 2006, so 20-year-old book. But the other 2 I really liked. They're just very of the time, not always politically correct. I just have had a great time with both the other ones I've read. And every time I go to the book barn and find the next in the series, I pick it up because they're $1. And this is the 3rd one. I've gotten the first 4. Oh, this is the first printing. Isn't that exciting? So we've got a fantasy set in our world. We have a paranormal romance. So let's see what we're gonna do for red. I am hoping for maybe a horror or literary fiction, something exciting. I don't No. And how I do this is I don't have all of my books on these lists. I go through them every time I do one of these episodes and just make sure that things are still where they should be, because things may have gone up or down on my interest level at the time. The point of this is not to read down my TBR. It's more to just keep things moving. Things on my shelf that have grown stale and I don't really want to read anymore, I want to at least keep trying occasionally so that I can get them off my shelves if I'm no longer interested in them, because if I left to my own completely own devices, I may not actually ever try these. They just might stay on my shelf forever. All right, red. Ready? What's it gonna be? Oh, The Will of the Many. All right, well, that's another long one. I guess I will finally be reading The Will of the Many, which everyone says is excellent. I do have the audio for this. I grabbed it a while ago, so that is good. I guess I'll be reading this one, this gigantic book. I mean, I say gigantic, but I've read longer. It's like under 700, it's under 650 pages, so I've definitely read longer. I've read the Robin Hobbs, which are 800 to 1,000 pages. I've read The Stand, so I can do it. I know I can do it. It's just sort of not something I was going to grab currently. But anyway, I was like, oh, I'll just wait for the third one to come. I already have the first two. Anyway, so these are the three we're starting with. We have a color story going on here. Lots of navy blues. So that is what I will be reading for this episode of TBR Temp to start off with. I'll pick something else if I have time to do so, or if I DNF. And yeah, I am excited about those picks, except for this one. But either way, it'll either be read and it'll be a pleasant surprise, or it will be off my shelves. So we'll see. I have begun reading The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. He wrote Cloud Atlas, which I never read, and I don't even know what that's about, but I've heard of it. This one I had never heard of. I do like the cover though, it's pretty. I still really don't know what this is about other than the little bit that I have read. I think I've only read like 5%. The audiobook's like 24 hours long or something crazy. But I was able to get it on Libby, so that will help me get through this, since I do have several larger books to read for this TBR Temp episode. Yeah, I'm 4% of the way through and I've listened to an hour. And right now I'm listening to it at 1.75 speed. They do have British accents, which are easy to understand in here, but we'll see if I can speed it up any more than that once I get a feel for what the heck is going on. But in here we have a teenage girl named Holly, and she is dating a man who is much older than her. He's in his 20s, and obviously that's no good. And her mom finds out about it, tells her that she is grounded, she's not going to be seeing him anymore, and all those things a mom should do. She says, well, F you, Mom, and runs away to go and stay with this man. And then some things happen in the first hour. Holly has in the past heard what she calls radio people in her head, just voices talking to her. She used to see and talk to, there was at one point she talked to this woman in her room who was her teacher, and then the next day she found out that teacher had passed away, so maybe she could see ghosts, and she has some sort of psychic otherworldly abilities. Her mom brought her to the doctor, and they stopped as she got older, but I'm sure we're going to come back around to that. But I am interested in this so far. I mean, like I said, I'm only a little bit of the ways into it, but I'm enjoying the writing. It is really long though, so we'll see if it keeps my interest. But so far I am liking the writing and I'm liking the character of Holly, and it seems like we're going to get a lot of character development in here. We'll see if it's of the sort that will keep my interest. I'm going to listen to some more of this probably today. This is my audiobook at the moment, and I'm trying to get through my arcs from my other vlog. It is Easter Monday here, and I thought I'd give you an update on The Bone Clocks. I am on page 163 of this now, and I'm actually liking it. There are some pretty dry parts, but I'm still very, very intrigued so far. It is a big one, so hopefully it ends up being a success for me. I will be DNFing it at some point if it's not working for me, but right now, like, even though there are some mundane parts and some characters in here that I'm not loving reading from, at the same time, I'm intrigued by it. In the first bit, we're following Holly, as I said, and she's a teenager, and that's 1984. And I guess from what I'm gathering is each tab, I don't know if you could see them, is set in a different time period or different year. And I think in each one you're following a different narrator, but I think Holly is at the center of everything. Like, you know, if she was this apple, and then there's all these stories surrounding her. I think that's kind of what this is. I'll be interested to see how and if that all comes together well. It does have magical realism in it. Like I said, Holly talks about hearing these radio people. She has parts of her memory that seem to have been erased or taken away. There's something weird going on with her brother where he gives her this maze and asks her, like, please memorize how to get out of this maze. Promise me, Holly, promise me, Holly. We don't know what that's about. So I'm really, I'm intrigued by this so far. I wouldn't say I'm loving it, but I am enjoying the character study of it all. Like each chunk you're getting a really good idea of what these characters are like. And then there's like some sort of entities taking over bodies and speaking to the characters in here. There's interesting sequences where they talk to people that seem to have worldly conspiracy magical thing in the background. I'm trying to think of what it could remind me of. I don't know if I've ever read anything that's reminded me of this so far. So I know he wrote Cloud Atlas, which I have not read, but I'd be interested to see what that is like. I know it's like writing a lot of different perspectives and voices for something. So maybe I'll read that eventually if I do end up enjoying this. In the second part, we're following, I think we're in the 90s, 1990. Let me check. I have these marked off here. 1991. Oh, here's the maze I was talking about. So this is in 1991 and we're following this guy. He's in college. I think he might be early to mid 20s because I think he's a graduate student, but I'm not positive. And he's kind of a jerk. Like he's always talking about women's bodies and kind of about how he's like uses women for their physicality, but he's kind of an asshole and kind of a narcissist slash, I wouldn't say he's, I don't know, a psychopathy. Maybe he doesn't have any feelings. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with him. He's just very pretentious. He goes to Oxford. He's very pretentious. And at this point, he's like home for the holidays. But he did just come in contact with Holly. So that is interesting to see how that all ties in. Yeah, he's not a likable character, but he's still interesting and he's had some like mystical things happen to him. So yeah, I'm interested to see where this all goes and I will continue reading it. I haven't started any of the other books. I think we'll see how this goes. Maybe I'll start my smutty vampire book because that'll be a nice light book to follow up with after reading chunks of this. So I've just been sitting here reading and listening to the audiobooks at the same time, and I've made it to the third section, which is in 2004. We are meeting another character, and is also kind of orbiting around Holly, right? So Holly is in here as well, but it's from a different perspective. It's not from her perspective. This is from the perspective of Ed. There's definitely in this book like some sort of underbelly of magical groups, societies, etc. Some sort of war going on, but this is more about the relationships and things, the main point, and then that is sort of in the background and connecting everything. So this is in 2004, someone who is associated with Holly's family. There's this quote here that I just really liked and I underlined. It says, "I'd love to know how Dad saw me when I was a kid. I'd love to know 100 things. When a parent dies, a filing cabinet full of all the fascinating stuff also ceases to exist. I never imagined how hungry I'd be one day to look inside it." I thought that was really good. So I am still enjoying this. I'm about to go into my in-person book club. We read Arcana Academy, so we're going to be talking about that. I think I gave this like a 3. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but it was entertaining enough for me to finish. And then I also have to return Candelaria, which I gave a 3.5. I'll talk about it in my April wrap up. It definitely had some really fun 5-star weird girl moments. And then the end kind of just lost me a bit. So I ended up giving it a 3.5. But I am now on the 2015 chapter and we are following, so the past chapter was in the early 2000s, and we're following a man who is a war reporter in Iraq, and then he was home for a wedding, and he has a daughter, and he was talking about wanting to go back, and then, you know, his spouse was not too fond about that. And then in this chapter I just started, we're following an author, and as I said, Holly from the first chapter is incorporated into all of these, and I'm sure it'll come back around. And we've got a lot of magic realism, there's telepathy, there's some portals, there's weird time stuff, but it's very much on the periphery. We haven't gotten a lot of that like as main part of the story. It's just like little bits of each. But I'm liking this way more than I thought. It's definitely an undertaking. This is a long one. It's like 600 and something pages. It's definitely got its mundane moments, but I'm still really, really enjoying it, which is a treat because I don't think I would have picked this up without this vlog anytime soon. It's not one that was on my radar at all. It was just a book that I found at a used bookstore when I first started buying books again, when I had like nothing on my bookshelves, and I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. He wrote Cloud Atlas. That wasn't on my radar either, but maybe I'll go back and read that now because I know his books have there's like a David Mitchell verse, I guess. I don't know, that a lot of them seem to be somewhat connected. So that will be interesting to go back eventually and check that out. But I'm going to go in the library now and attend my book club. Yeah, so I'm about halfway through now. So I'm excited about that. I'll be able to finish this tomorrow. Still working on reading the Bone Clocks. I'm going to go run again. I'm wearing the same running outfit I did yesterday because it was clean. I finished. What a journey this is. Oh my God. It's like, what, 624 pages? So it is an undertaking, and especially for a book that it's fantasy, but it's not like a high fantasy or anything like that. I don't want to say too much about the last two parts in here, because if I even say like what the timeline is or who's involved at all, then there'll be spoilers in there. But I will say you find out what this is and what that is. Overall, this is a book about Holly Sykes and her life. And you're seeing a few timelines from her point of view, but then the other timelines are through other people that she has come across. And there's this underlying battle of good and evil, this supernaturally underbelly of these people that are immortal in some sort of a way, and there's dueling groups, etc. But that's the backstory, you know, it's not in the foreground, that's in the background. Yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I mean, especially for a book that I wasn't that intrigued by, that I was on my blue cold list because I was giving it the cold shoulder when I was looking at it on my bookshelf. I had a really good time with this. We did find out what bone clocks are exactly. That is what some of these creatures call people, because we're just a sack of bones showing the amount of time that we have been on this earth because of the way that we age, grow old, and then die. I thought this was really good. If I were being picky, I would say 3.75 because of how long it is, and there were times where I was getting a little bored, but the overall story of it, I think I'm going to look back on it fondly. I think it's going to be one I'm going to remember. So I'm going to give it a 4 on Goodreads. If I'm being picky, 3.75. Now I get to start The Will of the Many, which is another chunker, but I will also be starting my Black Dagger Brotherhood book too. So that'll be a more of an easy breezy one that will just be like a fun, silly time, I'm assuming. Hello, I'm starting The Will of the Many today. Well, I'm mostly starting. I think I read like 20 pages yesterday morning. I'm going to read this for a few hours today before I go out on my run, and then I'm going to film for another vlog later. This is the last day. Well, tomorrow my husband will be home, I think, but the kids still have school, but then next week's April break, so I'll have kids home all day. It's just more difficult to film anything, so I'm gonna do that later. It is friggin' freezing out still. There was frost on my windshield this morning. I do not agree with that. sir, ma'am, whoever's in charge. Look, listen, I don't want it to be hot. I just want it to not be freezing in the morning. I refuse to take out my winter coat. Also, I need to clean out my closet and reorganize because it is a hot mess. I can't find tank tops. I can't find anything right now. Everything's a mess. Everything's just like shoved in drawers. It's really bad. So I'm thinking maybe tomorrow I will do a closet clean out and listen to this if I can get a good grasp on it. So that's the plan, I think, for tomorrow. I also started Lover Awakened. And, you know, these are just a silly good time. This one's following the Zadist, which is like, the names are ridiculous. He was a blood slave, and he's known for being very violent and volatile, dangerous, miserable, and mentally unwell. So this one should be interesting. He's like, oh my Lord, I can't think. What's that word for people that don't have sex? Celibate. He's usually celibate because he knows that he's volatile, and he was used for many years as a blood slave and, you know, violated and all those. So this one should be interesting. These are just fun. I know it doesn't sound fun, but it's like, you know, like there's a whole world and subplots around it, and I don't know. I just have fun with these. It just brings me back to a different time, and I like them. And there's a million of them for a reason, you know. They're just fun. This is 2000 and when was this written? 6. Oh, the year I graduated college, if you're wondering. Anyway, I'm gonna read this and see where it takes me. So I got my run done. I've been listening to The Little Many. I think I'm on chapter like 12 or something like that. I'm liking it okay so far. I'm not like uber excited about it yet, but I think my expectations are so high because everyone seems to love it that I just need to like chill out. My expectations need to be tempered just a little bit because it's just a book and it's a fantasy book. So I got my aardvark box in, so I thought I'd unbox that. The Japanese Gothic Aardvark edition, and then ooh, so pretty. Hopefully, I mean, it should be a win. I liked her other book, so gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Oh, and I did get a signed version. I wasn't sure. Aardvark had an issue with their site, so I wasn't sure. But the naked hardback is so pretty. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. And then I also got Our Sister's Keeper, which I think is like a magical realism or something. I can't remember. Mississippi, 1927. The groanings are coming. No town is perfect, but East Cobb comes close. Its wealthy, all-black, free town, untouched by white oppression, where ambitious Tia Elliott and her husband plan to make good on their big dreams. Little do they know that the idyllic town teems with ghoulish walking nightmares that only one woman can see. Blah, blah, blah. I have no idea. And then, I don't even know what this is. No idea. How did this get here already? I'm confused, Jones. Update on this, I had to check. I was like, oh, where did this come from? Why did you send this to me, Simon Schuster? I guess I won a Goodreads giveaway, which that's a first, so that's very exciting. This doesn't come out until like the 21st of April, so I got my hands on the physical copy. So exciting. I mean, I already read it, but I loved it and I gave it 5 stars. I don't see any Morse code in here, which I thought there was gonna have more Morse code in here, but maybe not. I mean, I'm not gonna look through this whole thing, but I don't see any in here. Like I see like the symbols, but those were in ebook. So I don't know. That was exciting.
Out of here, Fort Rocks, and I want to take my
welcome to my bedroom. The lighting in here is atrocious, so I'm just gonna hold you, I guess. It's just, I mean, it's not the worst over here, but it's like nowhere to put you. Anyway, I'm going to clean up my closet, and I've been avoiding it, but the time has come because it's getting warmer out, and we're going on vacation next month, and I need to know where things are. I am a third, a fourth, something like that, of the way through the Little of the Many. If you didn't know, this is about Vis. It's in a world where there's a pyramid-like scheme, plan, government, where those who are higher up cede their will. I mean, those who are lower in the pyramid, the base of the pyramid, cede their will to those above them, and those people have more power, and they cede their will to those above them, and so on. And so the people at the top are standing on the backs, shoulders, etc. of those on the bottom. And this is someone who is an orphan, and he gets daddy warbucksed out of the orphanage and is going to be a spy in the school for the Daddy Warbucks character to investigate and infiltrate the school and find out what happened to Daddy Warbucks' brother, amongst other things. There's a lot more going on than that in here. I am enjoying it so far. It didn't convince me until the arena scene. If you've read this, you'll know what that is. And that was brutal, gory, epically gruesome, and I loved it. So I am now in it and excited to read more. I'm planning on listening to this while I do my closet because it's bad, and I have the audiobook. I grabbed it a while ago, but I had an Audible credit because it's an Audible exclusive. Current state of my drawers. No organization in sight. This is my running one. Also, no organization. And yeah, everything's just tossed. I was joined by Ellie. She's gonna hang out while I do this. And we have Briar. What's up, Bri?
She's like, I won't be it too, Mommy. I won't be it too.
Oh, sweetie. Those are her chilling mats over there. She's got two. So she can alternate when she gets hot.
Huh, because I'm a mountain dog. I'm not made for these spring temperatures.
I know, it's a whole 50-something degrees out. Baby. You got hot. I'm a hot baby. Yes, I am. Got my running drawer down. I don't know if you can see the difference, but I've got my shorts, tank tops, and then I left a couple long sleeve shirts, a couple of pairs of leggings, and I have my visors and my lighter hats and things for winter, but summer, which I don't really wear on, so I just stuck them in there. So that's done.
Good boy, Good boy.
I am fortunately getting some time reading outside. I got a hammock chair for our little stair porch thing outside. It's just stairs, but you know, the platform before the stairs. Whoop. You stay. I am more than halfway through this. I was listening to it when I was doing my closet. Well, I got my drawers done and I got some of the closet done. The rest of it I'm just gonna have to do later because I just needed to eat something and I burned out on doing it. So I will continue, but I did it for a couple hours and I was getting annoyed. Anyway, I'm liking this a lot more now. At the beginning, I just didn't really care about the characters or anything, but it took a while for me to want to root for Vis for some reason. And not that I didn't want to root for him, but I just, I just didn't care all that much. But now that he's at the school, we got the training montage at the beginning with some of the other characters and the person he's training with, and we've gotten some reveals in here, so I definitely care now. I really like some of the characters that he's with at school. I'm interested to see where that goes, if it becomes more of a found family or if they end up betraying each other. I really like this one guy that he became friends with, that speaks a language, a dead language that he also speaks. That relationship is interesting. There's also another guy whose father is incredibly unpopular, and I find him very interesting. There's a girl that Vis is a little interested in, and I find her very interesting. And then we just kind of reveal they're on break from school for some celebration or other, and he finally met his stepmom. So that's the part that we're at, and there was a reveal that I thought was interesting. I was like, whoa, it surprised me. Twists and turns in here, even though I've heard that there are, but I'm not like, my brain's not trying to like predict those. I'm just like having a good time. So yeah, I am on chapter 38 now, which is page 331. So we'll see how much longer this takes me to finish. Finishing today would definitely be a stretch because I have over 300 pages left, but I might try because now I'm hooked. Got me. You got me, James. You got me. And I have the second one, but I don't know if I can pick that up right away. I might need to wait a little bit.
Is that you? Is that you? Is that you on the video? Say hi.
Ellie, you love it when I do this, don't you? Thank you so much.
Just saying hi. Don't you miss for you? No, 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 no. You're so cute.
I finished The Will of the Many. I'm going to give this one 5 stars. I really, really like this. I think what everyone says about this is true. It's a unique world, and it's just interesting. It's just interesting to learn about as you're going along, and I really enjoyed it. I really grew to love some of the side characters, which is important to me when it comes to a long-ass fantasy. Let's see, what else? Yeah, the beginning, I wasn't immediately drawn into it, perhaps because I kind of had heard so many people talk about it. But once the arena scene happened, I was in it for the long haul. I was excited. And there's so much more that we don't know that I look forward to learning more about in the second one and the third one, whenever that comes out. Part of me wants to hurry up and read the second one, and then another part of me just doesn't want to because I know that there's more to come. So what's the rush? Anyway, I really, really liked this. This was from my red book category, the books that were my hot books, the ones I really wanted to read and get to eventually. So I'm happy to report that I was right, and I did really enjoy this. And now I just need to finish reading Lover Awakened, which was one of my green books, and I'll like this. I know I'm gonna like it. It's just how much? 56 pages in, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's just a silly early 2000s time. The kids are on April break this week, so I dropped my daughter off, and my son is just upstairs doing his own thing. But if you hear noises, that's probably why. I have Ellie next to me. I've been sitting here reading Lover Awakened. I am on page 165, chapter 20. Almost, not quite halfway through, because these are a little long. They're like 430 pages. In this world, vampires are their own different species. They feed on the opposite sex, usually mate or just someone that they have an arrangement with. That gives them the most nutrition and power, just have the strength they need, etc. But they can also feed on humans as well, but they just don't do that all that often. They are born, not made, immortal vampire slayers that also try to hunt them down. Vampires in this world really aren't evil or good. They are kind of like this underground separate species from humans, although they can mate with humans and create half vampires. Sometimes they're vampires, sometimes they're human, depending on what genes are passed down. Oh yes, there are these immortal slayers that are created, and they are sort of, they die, they give up their hearts and things to become these super strong guys. His goal is to eradicate vampires from the earth. It's a little weird. It's a little dated, but I just have so much fun with these. In these stories, we are following members of the Black Dagger Brotherhood that help to protect the vampires and fight the Slayer creatures. And in this one, we are following Zadist, and all the vampires have weird names, especially the Black Dagger Brotherhood ones. It's like Zadist and Fury and lots of weird names for whatever reason. Each of these books follows one of the brothers, but also you're getting all these little offshoots of stories as well, which I do enjoy. I do enjoy the development of the worlds. That's kind of fun to me. I've always loved paranormal romance since back in the day. I've read some really interesting ones, but I'm kind of getting back into them now. Anyway, this follows Zadist and Bella, and Zadist used to be a blood slave, I think I mentioned, and he was very badly abused physically, sexually, all those things, and he is dealing with the repercussions and PTSD from that. His face is scarred. He thinks that he's dirty and disgusting, and he doesn't want to touch anyone. He literally will find female women to feed off of, primarily humans, because he doesn't want to feed off female humans, female vampires, because he was forced to while he was a slave. And I believe he killed a bunch of people. So anyway, he has a lot of trauma in his background. And then Bella was kept prisoner by the creepy Slayer dudes, and they got her back, but there's a lot of trauma as well, and she's very attached to Zadist because he was the one that rescued her, so they have a bit of a drama bond, which, could be problematic, but yeah, I'm sure I'll finish it and give it at least 4 stars. Alright, so I don't know if I'll have time to read another book, but let's spin the blue wheel again, the books I at least want to read, just for funsies, and see what we get. Maybe it'll be a quick DNF. What is it? Oh, the cheerleaders. Yeah, I could definitely try that one. I'm going to do a really quick spin for another hot book. See what happens. If it's a super long one, I'm going to veto it because I've already read over 600 page books for this vlog, plus the Black Dagger Brotherhood, which I'm halfway through, and I still have 200 something pages to go. So there's been a lot of long ones this time. So let's just try this and see what happens. If it's something I already have read, I'll just spin again. If it's something that's way too long, I'll just spin again. So let's see. We want the volume on. Let's see what it is. I have no idea. Beta Vulgaris. So that might be a good. We'll go get that one. So all I really know about this is a planty horror, maybe, I don't know what else. Sugar beet harvesting, they live in Brooklyn, financial anxiety, then she starts getting a rash, and then coworkers start vanishing. So some sort of planty horror with this one, but I love the cover of this. I'm all in for some plant horror, and it looks like there's really short chapters, which might be fun. So I'm going to be reading this once I finish the Black Dagger Brotherhood. And then I'm also going to be reading The Cheerleaders, which is a young adult thriller. So this may be a quick DNF. And then I'm going to spin for one more mid-book too. And as I said, I will be vetoing any long books at this point because I won't have time to finish them within this week. And I want this vlog to be done within this week because it'll have spanned 2 weeks. What does it say? One Italian Summer. Okay, that one might be a good one too. Let me get that. Is that Rebecca Cyril? So yes, this is definitely a book that I am interested in, but not super interested in. That's why it was in the mid-green category. This is something about mothers and daughters, I think. I think it's about a woman and her mother dies and she goes to Italy. She travels the route that her mother did when she was her age, and then she comes into contact with her dead mother, but back when she was her age or something. So there's some time bendiness in here. I've heard that it is good and sad. It says transcendent novel about how we move on after great loss and how the people we love never truly leave us. So yeah, I probably wouldn't get to this for a really long time if I didn't spin it here. So that's a good one. I also just wanted to say that the slayers in here, the lessers or whatever they call them, the evil undead things, they are very incel coded. And this is before like incel culture, incels were really a thing. It was in 2006. So like we had AIM, maybe the beginnings of Facebook, but that was not it. Yeah, they're very incel coded. They are dead. So they are impotent. And at least the ones we've been in perspective of are really pissed about it, or at least they seem that way, because they want women to love them and they want to possess them, but they can't actually do that physical intimate act. And of course women don't like them because they're a bunch of a-holes. Like they literally search out men that are just angry to become part of this cult clan of evil undead vampire slaying people. So yeah, that's an interesting aspect to these books as well. I'm halfway through. I'm still liking it. I mean, there really haven't been, there's no physical intimacy in this really so far, other than some kissing, because he is incredibly damaged because of his past. He's very reticent, very resistant to any sort of affection or physical care. He doesn't think that he has the value to be in those kind of relationships. He thinks he's been used up and abused and is dirty, and he also believes that he's scared that if he would submit to the love that Bella is showing towards him, that he might lose control, because he has had this horrible past. He was actually taken from he was stolen from his home as an infant and then sold to this blood slave group. That was then he was given to his doctor. So yeah, I'm still really liking this so far, but I do need a break. So I think I'm going to edit for a bit today, and then I have to go get my daughter in about half an hour. So pardon the yard work or whatever is going on. I don't even know. I looked outside and nobody's mowing. Must be a couple houses down. Anyway, I finished Lover Awakened and I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I just love this early 2000s paranormal romance stuff. It's just my shit. Okay? I just like it. And there was a death in here that broke my heart. The ending was just so good. Yeah. Yep. Yep. 5 stars. I apparently had this on Libro, which I didn't realize. I must have bought it when they had one of their sales. I always check on those to see, because sometimes you can get really good deals on audiobooks. Otherwise, I would not have used a credit for this because it's fairly short. I am over halfway through One Italian Summer Anymore, and that was just from getting to and getting ready this morning and going on my run. And so this is a very quick read, but I am liking it. It is about a woman named Katie, and her mom passes away from cancer, I believe, and pretty early, before her 60th birthday or around her 60th birthday. And Katie is just thrown for a loop because her mom was her person, and the one person in her life that she loved most of all, even though she had a husband and father and all that and friends. She was just her person, and she was just her everything. And so she goes to Italy, which they were supposed to go together, but she got sick and passed away, and goes there, and she ends up meeting the younger version of her mother. I think I mentioned that already. I'm really enjoying this. It's got a very good handle on the setting. It's very atmospheric. You really feel like you get a handle on what the Amalfi Coast is like, and just how beautiful it is, and them going out exploring different things and talking about life, all the things that she, maybe wanted to ask her mother, and just aspects of her mom that she never got to know because she knew her as a mom and as a grown woman who already had an established life, obviously, because she was her mom, and, just things she never think to ask or learn about. And yeah, I like this. It's emotional and makes you think about the people in your life and asking those questions before you don't have an opportunity to anymore. And I read Expiration Dates by Rebecca Serrell, and I didn't really like that one. I think I gave it 2 stars, 2.5. For some reason that one just didn't work for me, but I am happy to report I am enjoying this one. And now it is gorgeous out. When I started this vlog last week, there was so much frost on my windshield that I had to start the car for like 10 minutes before I could drive it. And now it is like 80 degrees today, and humid and hot. Yesterday was perfect. It was like gorgeous. Like I could sit out here in the shade in like leggings and a sweatshirt and be comfortable. Now I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm in the shade and it's still warm, but it's like, So nice though. It's gonna be hot sleeping tonight. We don't want to put the AC in yet because it's gonna get cool again in a few days. We're gonna just suffer, I think. I'm gonna sit here and read, try a chapter or two and see how I feel about this one. See if it's a fun kind of YA filler or if it's one I'm just gonna be annoyed by. And then I'm also might read a little bit of this. We'll see what I get up to singing out here in the sun.
I'm getting detox. It's detox this week. Take a break to read the full.
I'm gonna switch up and start reading this. And we got an Ellie bone.
Ellie, bum, 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 bum. What are you doing over there?
Let's look at the resumes.
Been sitting here reading the cheerleaders. Whoop. I'm 90 pages in. I'm actually kind of intrigued by it. It's a teen thriller in the vein of How to Get Away with Murder and One of Us is Lying. Actually, I think is blurbed by the author of One of Us is Lying. Yeah. So I'm actually intrigued by this. It's an easy read. And I don't know, I'm having kind of fun with it. I'm 90 pages in, so if I stop having fun or don't feel like it's serving me, if it's not entertaining me, I will DNF it, but I'm actually kind of liking it. This will probably be one that I can unhaul when I'm done with it because I do tend to unhaul thrillers anyway, but I thought this was kind of fun. It's definitely reminiscent of time. I mean, it was 2018, so it wasn't a long time ago, but it was 8 years ago. You know, a teenage girl having an inappropriate relationship with a lifeguard who turns out to then be her cross-country teacher. It's giving like Pretty Little Liars, Veronica Mars, you know, that kind of feel to it. And I used to love Veronica Mars back in the day. I think I was in college when I was watching that, college and then right after college. Ugh, I loved Veronica Mars. I was obsessed. And I loved the movie when it came out. And I watched, I think, the first episode or two of like the little revamping episodes they did afterwards. And then, but I knew what happened to Logan. And so I didn't finish it because I was like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. He was such a flawed individual and I just loved him so much. Anyway, enough about Veronica Mars. I'm enjoying this. I'm going to continue on with it. I think it's a well-plotted thriller so far and I'm intrigued. But I think I am going to take a little bit of a break from it and start this while it's quiet, while my daughter is at her program. They went jumping today and then they're going to go see the Mario movie. She's 11. She's almost 12. So the middle school, they do a lot of trips and things you can sign the kids up for a pretty good price. And she is very involved at the youth center. My son was too, but now he's aged out of it. But it was such a great program. I'm so thankful to our town for funding such a great program. I know that it's also grant funded. I know they lost some of that money because of our current president and administration. So I don't know if they were able to find that money elsewhere in a different grant or what happened with that, but I'm glad that it still exists because it's so nice that the kids have somewhere to go after school other than to wander around town and cause havoc amongst the local businesses. And they still do. You still hear some of that. I know the library's been complaining about the middle schoolers, but not my child, because my child goes to the youth center and has fun with her friends, and it's just a safe place. They do all these like programs. They have like craft room. I mean, she made cupcakes the other day just basically by herself because they offered as an option. And they have a video game room. They do outside things. They go to the green. Sometimes they'll take walks to the bookstore or to the library or to the ice cream shop that's nearby. So it's just really a nice program. Anyway, you don't care. So I'm going to start this one, I think, as well. Oh, I don't even think I told you really what this is about. This is a young adult thriller where 5 years ago, 5 cheerleaders died. 2 in a car crash, 3 like separate events that seemingly are not connected. So 2 died in a car crash, 2 died in were murdered in a home, and then one, the sister of the main character in here, whose name is Monica. Yeah, Monica. Monica's sister killed herself, supposedly, and that was 5 years ago. And Monica is now in high school. She's a senior. She finds the phone of her sister in her stepdad's dress drawer in the office or something like that, and it's like she doesn't understand why he still has it. He is a cop, and he actually was involved in some of these investigations, and now she is wondering if these are connected. And she's getting text messages from a person that she texted that was a number that was unidentified on the phone, and is speaking with them. She's talking to a reporter who covered the story, and so she's trying to unravel what happened to these cheerleaders and if everything is connected. And I'm intrigued. I'm curious. So I'm going to keep reading it. And then this one's about beet farming, and I'm pretty sure it's some sort of plant horror, and I love the cover. So I'm going to try this out and see how this goes, but I think I'm going to like it enough. Also, I'm not putting any mascara or makeup on today because I don't know if you could see it in the camera, but I woke up and like one of my blood vessels in my eye is like red and bloodshot and like gross. My eyes don't itch and it doesn't hurt or anything. So I don't know why that is, but I probably shouldn't put anything near my eye. I do have my contacts in because it's so sunny out, and I had to come inside. I couldn't read outside because the lawn guys came for the first time. Of course, the first like gorgeous day, and they came and did the lawn, which I appreciate. It needs to be dethatched and have our first little mow, even though the grass isn't really growing yet, and blow the rest of the leaves and sticks and all that crapola off the yard, because I know the tick guys are going to come spray probably in the next few weeks for ticks. We live in New England, and there's just ticks everywhere. Connecticut, actually Lyme, East Lyme, like that's why they named Lyme, because we have so many ticks here. And it just seems to have gotten worse every year, and the dogs will bring them in, etc. So we are a family that checks for ticks if we're outside every single day-ish. We make sure our dogs are treated when they're due, and we pay hundreds of dollars a year to get our lawn sprayed 5 to 6 times a year, because they get bad, and I want to be able to sit out on our lawn and enjoy the outdoors without worrying about that. But it's the worst. I do wish that I lived in an area that didn't have to deal with that, but every place you move has issues of a different sort. This is just our sort, and it sucks. Literally. A quick update before the kids wake up. It is April break, so we're still just having kids home. I finished One Italian Summer. This was entertaining and kind of heartwarming, but I felt like it was very surface level entertaining and heartwarming. When I finished this, I was like, oh, I had a decent time. That was a 4-star. The more I thought about it, the lower I feel like I want to rate this. So I ended up giving it 3 stars. I thought the setting was the strongest aspect of this book. I loved the Italian setting, and I loved the food, the way they talked about food and the atmosphere and the people. But overall, I thought I was really annoyed with Katie and her relationship with her mother. So codependent before she passes away, and she just relies on her for everything. And I felt like her mother just didn't make sure she grew up to be an independent woman who could make her own choices. And I don't know if that really made sense with the version of her mother that we meet later on. And I guess there are reasons for why that might be the case, but for me it just seemed kind of aggravating. And I don't know, some of Katie's decisions I didn't like. And I mean, I don't need to agree with every decision a character makes, but then everything just wraps up so neatly in a bow at the end. And I don't know. I don't think this kind of women's lit is for me. Maybe I would find one I liked at some point, or like I've read like Ellen Hildebrand and had a good time with her books, but those tend to be a little bit more messy, I guess. But not that this wasn't somewhat messy, but there was just something about it that I really didn't like. I liked the younger version of her mother, for that person to then grow up to have such a codependent relationship with her mom. Like, this is enmeshment, at least in the way that yeah, like I would say that it's just not the relationship. Like, yeah, she was a great mom and she did everything for her daughter, but she didn't give her the skills she needed to succeed in the world. She let her rely on her for everything. And so much so that when she passes away, she's not even sure if she can be with her husband anymore. And I am all for a woman to, like, it's great that she goes off to try to find herself in Italy, but then she's still sort of relying on this past version of her mother to show her the way. I like the themes of finding out that your parent is a person and has had this whole life before you, but I feel like, I don't know, I think she's supposed to be like 30 or something, or yeah, like I think she's supposed to be like 30, and I'm like, girl, you need to mature a bit. I don't know. I think this is my second book from her, and both of them were just either okay or meh. So I think I'm going to get rid of In 5 Years, which I also got used. Both of these I got used. I think both of them I got on Pango at some point. Like, I needed free shipping, so I'm like, I'll try it. People seem to like this. I think this is the only other one by her that I have. I have to double check. I do think that at this point I'm going to unhaul both of these, so that's something. I'm still reading these two. This was my and we're back. My camera fell. This was my second blue book of the video, and this is my second hot book of the video. So yeah, so this one I'm still intrigued by. I'm entertained by it. Do I think it's gonna be like a 5-star book? No, but I do think I am being thoroughly entertained by the young adult shenanigans of this thriller. And then Beta Vulgaris, I am 59 pages into. Nothing really has happened so far. We're just setting up the fact they're out beet farming. They decided to harvest beets for a portion, is winter, and to try to make a good amount of money in a short amount of time, because finances have become quite the issue for her. She's living paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes not even so, but they're living in Brooklyn and they're going to do beet farming. There has been some stuff in here that's been creepy, but not much so far. Like, she's hearing this voice in her head. It's like, return the dirt, return the dirt. And she sees a sign at the mess hall, or like a soup kitchen type thing where they eat. There's a sign that says, the beets can only hurt you if you listen to them. So that's on page 27. So it's really on. So we're getting foreshadowing of things to come, but nothing too exciting has happened yet. But I am enjoying the writing. I'm interested to see where this one goes. I need to, oh, it was blurbed by the woman who wrote, Catherine Harlan, who wrote Fruiting Bodies, which I really liked. She said, sharp and atmospheric eco-horror that slices into the gruesome strangeness of industrialized agriculture. Beta Vulgaris is a fever dream hungry to consume you. So I should be able to finish. I'm hoping to finish both of these today. That might be a stretch. I also need to do some cleaning around here, and I don't have an audiobook at the moment. Unless I try to spin for another book and see if I can get an audiobook for it, but I don't know. Let's see. I want to spin for like more blue books, because those might be quick DNFers. It has not been the case this video. I also have the audiobook for Hemlock and Silver, which is a red book. It's one of the books that I'm looking forward to. I mean, I could just listen to that and include it in here and not spin, but that's no fun. Spin and see what happens. If I can get an audiobook on Libby or Hoopla or something, then I'll go with that. So let's see. Maybe I can find the audiobook to this. I feel like Throne of the Fallen. We'll try one more time, because the Throne of the Fallen was taken off Libby and I can't find it anywhere else for cheap, and I definitely don't want to spend a credit on it. So let's spin one more time. And if this doesn't work out, I'm just going to read Hemlock and Silver on audio. What Happens in Paradise. That's an Ellen Hildebrand. Let me see if I can get that on audio. So both of those don't have audiobooks that I can get access to on Libby or Hoopla or for cheap on Libro or anywhere else. So I am going to just listen to Hemlock and Silver. I hope that's okay with you guys because, yeah, I'm not going to spend any credits or money on books that I'm not even sure I'm going to like yet. And so I got this on Libby. This was a hold that came through, and I know there are other people who are waiting for it. So I will read this one. I do have this physically over by my desk, so I will give this one a shot. It's T. Kingfisher, so I'm sure it'll be 3+ stars. I always enjoy their writing, even if maybe they're not the hugest wins for me. Sometimes they are. So I love her Paladin series. I'm outside. It's going to be in the 80s today. One more day of warmth, and then it's going to go back down to the 50s, 60s again. Anyway, I wanted to mention that the main character in this has a history of an eating disorder. So she's constantly looking at foods, and her brain is calculating the calories that is in them. Just in case you have a history of that, that is something that I would be aware of. These girls are hot.
Aren't you, babies? You're hot.
We've got the third amigo here with us too, huh?
Aren't you, baby?
Although she got groomed, so she's not very hairy anymore. Huh. Oh, you got a little matted, didn't you? Yes. I am 100 pages into Beta Vulgaris now. This is a lot of internal dialogue with herself. She's floundering. She is depressed, anxious, recovering from an ED. She's got a lot of financial anxiety because she's not very good at keeping tabs on her money. Yeah, a lot of anxiety about her relationship. And then she also has this like crush on this girl that's at the farm, and she's having anxiety about that. I don't know. This is a lot about her and in her brain. And we're almost 100 pages in. And for a less than 300 page book, I mean, nothing horrifying or interesting really has happened so far. She's having some symptoms of something going on, but it's very backseat, just internal dialogue of everything that's going on in her head. And I can like books like that, but I'm kind of bored, honestly, with this one. There's not a lot of dialogue in here other than what's, like I said, with herself and her brain. There's not a lot of events happening. Obviously, she's just like bored at this job. It's cold and it's hard work. And so I'm waiting for something to happen, and it's making me kind of sad because I was hoping that this would be weird and fun, and I think it does get weird, but I don't know if it's going to offset the amount of boredom I'm feeling. I'm going to give it 50 more pages. If it doesn't... Oh, hello, bee. There's a big old bumblebee floating around. Anyways, if it doesn't improve, I might be unhauling this, and will make me sad because I really like the cover of it and I bought this full price. I don't know. I feel like this could have been a short story maybe, and I would have liked it. I want to like it still. I'm hoping still. I still have hope. We'll see. I have to take the dogs to the groomers, not the extra one. The other two. I have to go to the groomers. I was considering getting sushi, but I have leftovers in the fridge I should eat. Oh my god, my tummy just growled. I have some white rice. I could warm up a veggie burger and have that with some edamame or something. I don't know. But that's what I'm thinking. I haven't read any more of this, but it's sad to me that this I am having more fun with than this. I am back from dropping the girls off, and then I did some consignment shopping at we have this big consignment store that so many vendors have stuff at, so I decided to go over there and look around because I did decide to get sushi, and it was delicious, and I needed to waste some time before it would be ready. So I went to the consignment store and I got some wine at the package store, and I don't actually buy a lot at the consignment store, but I love to look because occasionally you'll find something, and I found these, and they're just so pretty. There's a whole set of 6, so I grabbed these for my wine or even just for water, but because they're like more like water goblets, but they're fancy. I'll use them for my wine and I'll feel fancy. I really liked these. Now my plan is to go back outside and read some more. I did get some chores done this morning. I started listening to Hemlock and Silver, and I'm liking that so far. T. Kingfisher tends to be hit or miss with the retellings for me. They're probably my least favorite of Kingfisher's type of book. I like her horror. I like her Paladin's Grace series. I enjoyed Sword Heart. It's like a high 3 for me. But I think for the most part, her horror is my favorite. And then I really like Paladin's Grace series, which is like the republications of some of her older things. So I like those a lot. Her protagonists always are generally more older and more established in their life and realistic body types. All around good time. I enjoy that we get to see a more mature character and what happens when they are thrown into these fantastical or scary situations. And yeah, so I'm enjoying that one so far. I think I'm 25% of the way through. That is a Snow White retelling, and we have a character who became fascinated with antidotes and poisons when she was a child, when her cousin passed away from eating hemlock, I think. And so as she got older, she studied for years to become a scholar of poisons, and the king has called her to the castle to try to save his daughter Snow, because she is not feeling well, and they think that maybe she was poisoned because no one could figure out what the heck is wrong with her. Anyways, and Beta Vulgaris I'm still not liking, so I'm gonna give that a little bit longer, and then DNF maybe. It's looking like maybe one of my most anticipated books. It's going to be a DNF. So at about 134 pages in, I'm deciding to DNF Beta Vulgaris, which is sad because it was part of my hot book spinner, and it's supposed to be at least somewhat of a guaranteed win, and I did not like it. If I finished it, the most of what it gotten was a 3, but the way it was going, I was already tempted to just skim and be done with it halfway in. And when that happens, it probably would have been a 2 at most. So, I mean, I was halfway in. There was barely anything weird going on. I wasn't interested in the character. We were inside her head the whole time, and I wasn't interested in her. I didn't like being inside her head at all. I mean, I'm known to like being inside a mentally unwell individual, literaturely, not physically. That would be gross. I was not having fun inside her head at all. Yeah, Elise's head. I was not having fun with her at all. I didn't really like any of the side characters. Really get that much of. I was promised creepy beats and like eco horror and plant horror, and nothing really has happened yet other than she has a rash. There's no creepy vibe in here. There's no creepy atmosphere, in my opinion. All could be there. All elements could be, but were not executed well, far at least. This is not weird enough for me. Maybe it gets weirder, but I'm not having a good enough time to find out, sadly. Also, I mentioned that the main character has an eating disorder. She's never told her partner that she had an eating disorder. She is constantly talking about caloric intake and the calories in all the food she's eating and listing out calorie content, etc., etc., etc. And there's no mention of that on the back. And so I don't like that you go into this with no knowledge of that whatsoever. Like, there's no reason not to mention that on the back. It just says that familiar anxieties about her finances, but she is clinically depressed, mentally ill, has an eating disorder, has probably an anxiety disorder on top of that, has suicidal thoughts. And I'm not one who thinks that you need to have a bunch of trigger warnings at the beginning of a book, but to have her counting calories, like, from almost page 1, it's not a surprise to the reader. It's not something that, you know, is a spoiler. And so I feel like it should have just mentioned that she is dealing with depression and eating disorder on the back, because that could be very triggering for people. Sometimes the things Elise knew about the world stacked too high and she had to stop thinking. And I agreed with that. She also said, but perhaps the only thing keeping her tolerable was the knowledge of her own intolerability. Maybe someday she would be in a history textbook, the worst person to never actually do anything bad. I thought that was kind of funny, and also she's very intolerable, and I'm done with this book, so we're gonna stop talking about it. So, DNF, sadly. If you would have told me that I was gonna have more fun with a young adult thriller than I would reading a literary horror, I would not have believed you, but it is so at the moment. I'm gonna read this until I have to go pick up the dog, which should be pretty soon. They should be done pretty soon. It's been a few hours. But they go in together, so it does take them a little while. They get nails done, bath, brush, you know, all that stuff. No cuts. They don't need cuts because they're just not the type of dog that needs cuts. So.
Oh, you! Look at you! You're so clean! You're so clean, you're so fluffy. What a pretty princess, yes.
Whew, it is so hot outside. I have like all the curtains drawn, but they're not very blackout, so there's still like so much sun coming through. It's gonna be hot sleeping tonight, but then tomorrow it's supposed to cool down, so I decided to DNF the cheerleaders. I got a little over halfway through and it was okay. It was fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this necessarily, but it was definitely a young adult thriller, and I think it's a solid young adult thriller. I think it is well put together. However, I just didn't care to finish enough to finish it. I think it would have been a 2.5, 3 if I finished it. So I decided I'm not the targeted audience for it. I'm having an okay time, but I don't need to finish this. So I decided to DNF this. And then I have another one by her. It's actually a signed copy, I think, which is interesting. I have another one by her, Little Monsters. And I've heard better things about this one, but I'm not a huge thriller fan anyway, and then on top of it, a young adult thriller. I have enjoyed some, but I think I'm just gonna get rid of this. I don't think I need to read this. Part of me is like, but maybe you like it. But like someone else would be, maybe there's a young adult reader out there that would love to get a signed copy, so decide to get rid of that one. So that means I am just finishing up reading Hemlock and Silver, which I did not spin for, but it is one of my hot books, one of the ones I was looking forward to reading. I was like, I'm just gonna read this and stick this in here. So I have an excuse to get it done. I am a good way of the amount through this. I think I only have like 20% left. I am liking this a lot. This is a Snow White retelling, but it's very different and has a very different feel to it. Anya. We're following Anya, and I think I told you that she learned all about poisons and antidotes as a kid because of something that happened to her cousin, and she gets called to the king to try to figure out what's going on with his daughter, and his wife he already killed because she cut out his other daughter's heart. Anya's trying to figure out what's going on, and she has a guard that is supposed to protect her because if someone wants Snow dead, then they also might want to kill her because she's trying to prevent that from happening. And there is a grumpy kitty. There is stuff with the mirrors, which I think is really cool and interesting to think about, and creepy. There's some really creepy moments in here. There is definitely a few times where it's a horror element in here with mirrors, I guess. That makes sense. I mean, even in Alice in Wonderland, you have the Jabberwocky and he's scary, but there are some creatures in here that are pretty gnarly sounding. So I'm enjoying that aspect of it. And then there is a little bit of a love story in here, which I'm also really enjoying. I am liking their dynamic a lot, and I like our main character. She's described as a bigger gal. I don't know if like width-wise or anything, but she's very tall. She's just a larger person. And yeah, she's just very smart and quick-witted, just like the usual T. Kingfisher books. And it definitely has that flavor. And I'm happy to say that I'm liking this more than I liked Sorcerer's Comes to Call, which I liked, I just didn't love it. Maybe I'm just in the right mood for this one. And this will be the last book for TBR Temp episode. So I'm going to finish this up. I will give you my final rating. I'll wrap this up so I can edit. So I finished up Hemlock and Silver. I'm going to give this 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed this one. I just love T. Kingfisher so much, her characters, and sometimes, like I said, her fairy tale ones haven't worked for me in the past, or at least, you know, I say haven't worked. They've still been good. I've given them 3 stars, and so I knew that I'd probably at least give this one a 3, but I would say I enjoyed this one a little more than some of her others, and I'm going to give it a solid 4. I really liked it. I did get a little confused with some of the mirror things, and I would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit more character development in some of the side characters, but at the same time, I enjoyed this a whole lot, so I don't think I would change very much, other than I was just a little confused about some of the mirror-y things going on, but I don't want to say much more than that. So yes, 4 stars, and that will be the last book of the vlog. So in this vlog, I tried out or read, let's get the stack. So these are the books I read for this vlog. The Bone Clocks originally was a low intrigue book. It was a cold book, but I ended up giving it 3.5, 4 stars. It was long, but I was intrigued by it, and I got all the way through it, and I thought it was well done. The Will of the Many was a 5 star, so that was exciting. That was a hot book, though, a book that I've been wanting to read for a while. I just wasn't planning on reading it anytime soon. Hemlock and Silver, I believe, was also a hot book. Anyway, I ended up giving it a 4, so that was a win. The Cheerleaders was a cold book, and I ended up DNFing, so I was right about that one. One Italian Summer was a green book. It was a middle intrigue book, and I ended up thinking it was all right, but I'm glad to have read it. I was entertained by it, but I ended up giving it, I think, 2.5, 3, low 3-star. And Lover Awakened I loved because it's just silly goodness, and I gave it 5 stars. So I am down to, after this episode, 312 books in my unread TBR once I take off the ones that I decided to get rid of and not read. There were 2 in 5 Years and Little Monsters. So I'm down to 312. However, I have a big old bucket of books from the used bookstore that I went a little feral in and decided to buy some books. And then I have some new releases that I haven't hauled yet. So there will be a haul at some point, probably at the end of April, beginning of May, where I can divulge my book buying, because I'm pretty sure that this is going to go back up above the 330 mark. I think we started off at 338 or 336, so I don't know. We might be more than back up there again, but that's okay because I have room on my shelves. I am not maxed out yet, and there are definitely more books that I can unhaul in here, I know. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a long one. It was a lot of work, and if you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, comment down below. It gives me a little thrill and tingle of excitement every time I see a comment or a like. So if you want to make someone's day in an easy way that doesn't cost any money, give me a like, and I will see you next time. Bye.